Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Alright, so this is going to be, I don't know if I want to use the word intense, but it's going to be a very, very important video. In fact, this video and the next video are going to basically get you to take the leap, to walk away from the past and move into the future. Okay, it's the whole reason why you went through narcissist abuse. It's the whole reason why you suffered and struggled. A long time ago, I was reading the book of Genesis, and I mean when I was a little kid, and something stood out to me. So here's the deal. Mankind has struggled on the planet, and I don't remember what it was in the book of Genesis. It might come to me. But there was something that stood out. I was like, oh, I see what's going on. See, we were put on the planet, as the Bible said, to populate the earth, etc., right? And to take care of the earth like it's a garden, okay? And so we were given dominion over the earth, the fowl, the birds, the sea, the land, the water, the fish, etc. So one thing I realized was it was a struggle, but it wasn't always meant to be a struggle. Okay, here's what it is. I think it was the part when it basically said God had basically said, let there be light, and there was light. So God made the earth in 7 days. God did this. And it was all about creation, creativity. So when I realized that the tree of knowledge is the logical brain, and then I began to realize that the right brain is the tree of life. Okay, do you guys remember that? It's in the book of Genesis. Okay, so the right brain is the tree of life. That's your emotions, your feelings, your five senses. Okay, so it's the 3D world. Okay, so what is the right brain? Well, it's the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. It's the brain that you access God. It's where you get intuition. All of a sudden you get like a download. All of a sudden you get a creative idea like out of the clear blue sky that's never been thought of before. Now, a lot of people, I'm going to say men, but it's not just men, but most men, what they do is they'll take an idea and they'll like recomputate it. So it's in the box. It's something they've already heard and learned, and they'll just change it or add to it or take away from it or you know what I mean, do a geometrical twist. That's not creativity. That's just changing something that already exists. My point is, the right brain is where you will get inspired out of the clear blue sky. You have no idea why all of a sudden you've got all this energy, you've got these new ideas, and all of a sudden you're going down this path. So it also said somewhere in the book of Genesis about conquering the land, okay? About multiplying and going to all four corners of the earth or whatever and conquering the land. And so it dawned on me, here's why. Back in the old days, like, you basically struggled every day just to feed yourself and to find shelter. That was it. Like, that's all you did. Like 80% of your effort, time, and physical energy was spent on finding food, feeding your children, feeding your wife, and finding a place to sleep. Life was physically exhausting. You didn't have time to create. So that's why we had to begin to learn to work together, to think, to figure stuff out, to create things, because the ultimate goal is to eventually conquer the land so we can finally shift into the right brain. And this symbol you're looking at right now, the cross, is exactly what it's talking about. At this point in time, we are supposed to shift over to the right brain as a world, as a people on the planet. We are supposed to be creators. We are supposed to create better ways of learning, better ways of traveling, better ways of health, nutrition, better ways of surgery, better ways of everything. And this is all going to come from the right brain. Now, the roadblock, the stumbling block, is the two-dimensional people that are in power right now. The either-or people, the people that want to control you, that want to push you down. I'm above you. It's that the two-dimensional brain is a hierarchy from top to bottom, from number 1 to number 10, etc. So these people have created a world where if they can make you sick, they can sell you medication to fix what's ever wrong with you. And yes, they are doing things to our food, and they have been. This isn't new. They've been making our cereal horrible. They're putting out stuff that causes cancer. They're putting out stuff that causes us to be sick and ill. Well, we just happen to have a pill for you. It's all about profit. Everything is made about profit, including military weapons. We need look, if you have a military manufacturing company, you cannot stay in business if you don't have a war. You have to have a war to profit. If you don't have wars, well, we can't sell our weapons, and then we have to shut our doors and everyone loses their jobs and goes home. So the people in power right now do not want to let go. The problem is more and more people are seeing it. They are waking up. I'm not just saying, I'm seeing it through you guys. I am massively going, oh, that, like the things you guys have said to me. I talked to someone last night on the phone. Hold on, let me, 1 second. All right, so I'll just use a first name. I spoke to Teresa till about 1 o'clock in the morning. She's someone that's on our channel. I'm not going to give away her name on the YouTube, but the point being is we had a great conversation, and she's seeing things that she never saw before. Well, guess what? She's not the only one. You guys are not the only one. People are starting to go, wait a minute. So in order for those companies to stay open, people have to get sick. In order for those military weapons companies to stay open, we have to have wars because we have to use those bombs and those fighter jets, etc. Otherwise, those companies will go bankrupt. So the good news is people are slowly shifting over into the third dimensional brain where we won't be thinking. In other words, our prosperity, our economy will not be based off of this two-dimensional way of thinking. See, everything about the two-dimensional brain is what's causing all the problems on every single level, in every single way, from socializing to the economy to wars between countries, like every single thing. Our banking system is based off of this. So remember, the left brain is the negation brain. It's about minusing everything. So no matter what you do, you're always going to be in debt. Our banking system is literally created in the purpose of making sure that everything and everybody are put into debt. So the minute you take out a loan, the minute you get a dollar bill, you automatically owe taxes on it. So you are automatically in debt, and you can never get out of it because our system is literally debt based. Our system is sickness based. Our system is war based. We have to have these things in order for these corporations to prosper, because without it, they'll go out of business. Now, these people only see either or. It's either or to them. For example, when they look at a pie, they're like, well, I got to get my fair share of the pie. And my thinking is, well, why don't you just go make your own pies? In fact, why not just go make 10 pies, 20 pies, 100 pies, as many as you want? But that will never come into their mind because they have this division of either or. It's either left or it's right. In other words, okay, so there is, okay, how do I explain this, God? Let me try to think of a good way to explain this. Alright, so it's just like a narcissist. So they think, well, there's only one pie. That's total bullshit. There's more pies. You can make more pies. And even when you say that to them, they're like, oh, I get it. You're trying to trick me out of my fair share. It's like, no. And that's exactly how narcissists will think. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm telling you, you can have more than part of a pie. You can have more than 5% of the pie, your equal share. You can go make 1,000% more. But their brain's like, no, it's either or. That's bullshit. Like that way of thinking doesn't fit into the two-dimensional mind. They won't even consider it because the either or mentality is also like, oh, you're trying to get one over on me. You're trying to screw me over. So no matter what you say, that's all they're going to think. You know, when people say have a prosperity consciousness, well, guess what? That's right brain. That's and in both plus and more. What's the opposite of prosperity? I don't know, like poverty consciousness. That's the left brain. It's about negation. It's either or. It's like this constant struggle. We are at a time in history and technology where we don't need to struggle anymore at all. The idea that humans are still struggling is absolutely insane. We should have stopped struggling around 1940s or 1950s. Okay, I've got a real life example. So I wrestled at Chico State. They were 5-time Division II national champions, 5 years in a row under Coach Armand Brett. Okay. Now here's the deal. The very first thing is we had to go up there during the summer, and we had to do car washes. Our parents and grandmothers would make baked goods, and we would go out and do bake sales. We would also do like one of the jobs we had was like a 2-day job, and it was exhausting. One example is a carpet store had these huge rolls, and they were moving to another building across town, so we had to load the trucks up, unload the trucks, carry the stuff into the new store, put it in the right place. Like these rolls were thousands of, yeah, they were definitely more than 1,000 pounds. These were really heavy, so it would take about 8 or 10 of us to carry just one roll. It was exhausting work all day long during the summer, sweating our ass off. We were doing this to build up our savings account so we could pay for gas, pay for we had a van that 2 vans that we had to pay for airline tickets, etc., staying in the hotels. That was all on us. We didn't get that from the government. We didn't get that from the school. That was on us. And then Coach Armand Brett, year round, he would call alumni and say, hey, can you donate $100? Can you donate $200? And to the rich people, hey, can you donate $1,000? Can you help out the team? He would do this year round, calling alumni that were 10, 15, 20 years deep. All of this money was money that we brought in, money that we earned, money that we worked for. It had nothing to do with the state system, with the government, with the Chico State itself, nothing. It was our money. It was our bank account. The bank account had nothing to do with the government, with the school system, nothing. So about a year later, I ran into Coach Armand Brett at UC Davis on campus. I just happened to be walking across this big grassy field, not field, but grass. It was a big, huge grass lawn, like by the parking lot. And he happened to be, he goes, Mike Kollin. Like, oh, hey, what's up, coach? And he goes, oh, hey, what's going on? I go, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm applying for the job here. I'm like, why? I go, dude, you're 5-time national champions up at Chico State. He goes, they closed this down. I'm like, what are you talking about? You just won a national championship last year, and you won 5 national championships in a row. Like, you don't close down programs that are that successful. You just don't do it. It's unheard of. So he said, well, they passed that new law, Title 14 or 15, I forget what it was. And I'm like, well, what's that? He goes, well, basically they're bringing in money for women's sports, which I'm completely 100% supportive of, and so was he, by the way. And he goes, but what they did was they came in and they seized our bank account and they took all the money and they shut down our program. So the money that was coming in from the government to rent, like to pay for the class, the program, etc., that was all given to the women's sports. I'm like, are you joking? He's like, no. I go, how can they do that? He goes, they shouldn't. It should be illegal. Like, I get that if they want to stop funding us on the government level, that's fine, and give that money to the girls. But they took our money from our bank account that had nothing to do with them. This is the epitome of either or thinking. It causes people to take and steal, even to pass illegal laws. So here's what he said. Now, this guy, it was heartbroken. I mean, absolutely, completely, totally heartbroken. He loved Chico State. He loved the program. He was a winning coach. He's one of the best in the world. And they did this to him, and I'm like, wow. And so he cried. He literally cries out. He goes, why can't the girls do car washes? Why can't the girls do bake sales? Why can't they get their parents involved? Why can't they call alumni? Why can't they, call their friends and family? And why can't they get people to donate money? Like, how come they don't have to do that? Why do they just take the money from other programs? Again, it's because it's either or mentality. Well, if you have the money, then I must take it from you. The thought of making your own apple pie never crosses their mind. I am leading up to something that all of you that have been on my channel for the last 3-4 months or more, there's a reason why you're listening to my channel. There's a reason why you're hearing this. We are in a battle, and The battle is the people that are in power in the two-dimensional way, okay? They want to hold on to this system because it's the way they think. They can't think outside of this way. So if the three-dimensional people start implementing a three-dimensional system where people can get along, where you and I can prosper, where you and I can go to college, where everyone can be happy and everyone can get along, those people, the narcissists, lose all their power, and they're losing it right now. So here's the deal. We are literally on an electrical grid that spans around the earth. The first time I really saw it with my eyes and felt it physically with my body in a 100% conscious way was the very beginning of the lockdowns. People were in the grocery stores, they were panicking, everybody was buying up toilet paper and buying up meat. And I was really casual, I'm a very conscious dude, I meditate a lot, I'm very emotionally grounded and ground myself, and I hadn't really gone during during the busy days. I always go at night when it's calmed down, and I went in at about 5 or 6 p.m. and also boom, like this thing hit me right in this solar plexus around my belly button, and for about 2 or 3 seconds I saw this energy grid of squares going all the way across the entire grocery store, and I looked at everyone, I was like, holy shit, what's going on in here? And boom, I got caught up in this panic. When I saw the energy grid, that was the first time when I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about, the Matrix. There is literally an electrical energy grid. Now, if you watched my video where I talk about how people connect from forehead to forehead, that is horizontal energy. Whereas vertical energy is where you go up in the sky and it goes all the way down through your body, all the way down into the earth. Okay, that's a healthy way of interacting with other human beings. This energy grid was not vertical, it was horizontal, where everyone was connected on the fear level, on the solar plexus level, and it shuts your solar plexus down. That's your power center. So we are shifting from this horizontal, in other words, forehead to forehead, gut to gut, solar plexus to solar plexus connection, to now this free connection where you drop your cord down into the earth and you connect with the core of the earth, and now everyone on top of the earth is free to come and go as they please. The energy grid we're in right now, it's a hierarchy level. Well, are you a doctor? Oh, well, you're above me, so I must be submissive, and all that bullshit. Oh, you make more money than me. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. It's like there's all these different levels and control levels because that's the two-dimensional way of thinking. It's the slave master mentality, literally. I must control you, okay? I must take from you. I must suck the life force energy from you. It's the whole reason why Palestine and Israel are at war right now. This is what this is about. So here's what's going on. The two-dimensional world is fighting for its life to hold on. There's the NWO, the New World, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the last word, but order. Okay? That is a two-dimensional control structure where now they have absolute power and control over everybody on the planet. And that is their goal. The only way they can control us is the way they have been doing it for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. All the way before the Bible, before Jesus, okay? And during that time, even up to now. Fear. As long as they can keep you in a state of fear from confusion, doubt, fear, panic, anxiety, now they're in control, because what it does is it shuts down that artery that I keep talking about. So it closes that artery down in the lower reptilian brain, which means you get less blood to the larger human brain, and thus you're functioning on a lower level and you can't see the manipulation and the lies that they're doing. So here's what happened to you. You were oblivious to what's going on. You were oblivious to narcissist abuse. A lot of you on here are empaths, you're light workers, you're light warriors, you're spirit workers, you're healers. You were abused your whole life. Do you know why? Because you closed your eyes and you closed your ears. You didn't wake up. So what happened was you got so abused that you finally popped open. And now you're starting to see what's going on. You opened up to your right brain. Remember the video I made, let's see if I can find the date here. It's the video is called Suffering Will Cause the Shift. It was October 19th. So Suffering Will Cause the Shift, Spiritual Awakening, Destroying Narcissist Abuse. So in that video, I'm saying, look, this whole Palestine-Israeli thing might be a good thing because suffering is what will cause people to finally let go of the past. It'll cause them to finally wake up and snap out of it. So suffering will cause the shift. Because after people suffer enough, they've had it and they don't have any other choice. They have to open their eyes. They have to look around and see what's causing all the pain. And guess what? That's exactly what happened to all of you. You just happened to go through it before the rest of the planet. Sure, the planet's suffering tremendously. People have been suffering since childhood. They're just not quite awake yet. You woke up first. There's a reason why. So yes, you literally went through exactly what I was talking about in that video, where people have to suffer before they'll shift over to the three-dimensional way of thinking before they wake up. You are literally a star seed. You were planted and now you are sprouting and the light is shining on you and you are beginning to grow and you're getting stronger and stronger every single day, and I'm going to prove it. You have got to stop this game. You have got to let go of the old way. You've got to let go of the past. You've got to let go of that two-dimensional way of thinking, that feeling guilty and feeling shame and feeling sorry for people and all that bullshit. That's what was keeping you in that trauma. That's what was keeping you on the lower level. You have to let it go because that's not who you are anymore. Do you guys remember where your pastors would say that Jesus has won the war? The war's already over. Like he went down and fought the devil and he's already beaten him. That's why when you say in the name of Jesus Christ, that it scares the devil. He runs away. It's like he has no power here. In all honesty, I'm not joking. It is exactly what the good witch from the north said to Dorothy when she was hugging Dorothy and protecting Dorothy from the wicked witch of the west, I believe it was, after her sister did that. I'm melting, after Dorothy spilt water on her and accidentally killed her. The wicked witch was trying to scare her and point the finger in her face, and that's what narcissists will do. They'll kind of slowly do it little by little until one day they're putting it right in front of your nose. And that's what the wicked witch was doing. And the good witch of the north said, you have no power here. Isn't that funny? That's exactly what happens when we say it to the devil. You have no power here. Jesus Christ has already won. He's already victorious. Victorious of what? The pastors never tell us. They never really break it down. I just figured it out about 15 minutes ago while I'm making this video. The book of Genesis, the entire purpose of mankind being put here, being given domain over the earth. We were to conquer the earth so we didn't have to struggle every step, every foot. Because back then there were no sidewalks, there were no cars, there were no roads. You had to climb over rocks and boulders and over weeds and plants and sticks and trees. It was an absolute struggle just to walk to the frickin' water, let alone hunt. Mankind's entire purpose was to one day to conquer the land, so we had to only do minimal energy because all that energy used to be put into our muscles. Now it's minimal energy. We have cars, we have bicycles, we have trains, we have planes, we have sidewalks and roads everywhere. We even have walking paths that are like for example here, that are made out of pavement, and it's like, that's a walking path? Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to walk over rocks or boulders or nothing. It's easy. So now the majority of the energy, say 70% of our energy, can now go up to our brain, because the larger human brain went through some developments, and when it went through the last development, it burns up a lot of energy. So the human brain is advantageous because it could figure stuff out, but it uses a lot of energy. The war is over. The war has already been won. Right now, the narcissists are fighting for their life. They're fighting for their existence on the planet. They're fighting to hold on to power. It's already over, people. It's already over. You know why? Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. Let's talk about Israel and Palestine. So, Did you know that the United States gives billions and billions of dollars to Israel every year because they don't have any way of making money? They don't have oil wells. They don't have this. They don't have that. So I wondered years ago, well, how do they even survive, let alone have one of the most powerful militaries in the world? I think they're like the 5th most powerful military in the world. I'm like, how is that even possible? My friend goes, United States, we literally give them billions and billions of dollars of fighter jets, weapons, etc., etc. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. He goes, yeah. He goes, on top of that, he goes, we give them billions and billions of dollars just to live on a daily basis. Now here's another thing. Our current president gave Iran $6 billion. And before that, we had given them billions of dollars before that. Well, Hamas was trained in Iran. Hamas was weaponized and given weapons from Iran. Well, guess what? They also found that Hamas has United States military weapons. Yeah. So guess what? These wars are being created on purpose. Now, here's what I mean. I'll go more in depth in another video. But here's the point. You're like, well, wait a minute. Why is the United States on both sides? It doesn't make sense. Because it's not about Israel. It's not about Palestine. It's not even about Iran. All of this it's a smokescreen to do something else. And it's working effectively. They are desperately trying to hold on to control of your mind. They need to keep that artery closed. See, what were we looking at? This is called the vagus nerve system. What I do, I teach you how to open up to the system. But if you're in a state of fear, you can't open up to the system. Thus, you're not tuned in and connected to your own power. People say, hey, Mike, what exactly do you do for a living? I teach people how to reconnect with their own power so they can take back their power and go create the life of their dreams. So here's the goal. What they need to do is they need to keep that lower artery in the lower reptilian brain narrow so the blood, because see, blood is fuel. It has oxygen and glycogen, and those are the number 1 and number 2 fuel sources for your brain and for your muscles. If they keep you in a state of panic and anxiety and fear with wars and bombs and all kinds of problems all over the planet, everyone's in a state of panic, and that's why you have this media constantly revving it up and revving it. They're making a mountain out of a molehill, okay? Or they'll do horrendous things like 9/11 and on, because they got to keep the masses in an absolute state of panic. Now they realize it's okay if a small percentage of people like Mike Kollin are awake, but if they see, look, here's the deal, guys. Once we get a high enough percentage, now here's the deal, it doesn't have to be 50%. I think it's something like 15%. If we can get 15% of the planet to calm down and relax and to wake up and open up that artery, now blood can flow up into the larger human brain, and thus, boom, that brain is turned on, and what will happen is the people around you will connect with that and they'll turn on also. So you don't have to get 50% of the population. You only have to get about 10 to 15% of the population, and just like wildfire, it'll catch on to everyone around you and everyone around them, and boom, now we connect in a vertical sense of connection down to the earth, up from the heavens. The Ukraine war, the Israeli-Palestine conflict, and all these other things that are going on around the world, it's all about panic, panic, panic. If they can put you in a state of panic, that artery lowers, and boom, you disconnected from your larger, bigger picture brain. And that is their goal, because that's the only way they can hold on to power now. Here's the deal. You guys have been called. I'm telling you, some of you came from the planetary system Sirius or the Pleiades system. You are spiritual. You are people that are on a higher energetic level. It's why you never fit in. You are on a higher conscious level. Okay, so I talked to someone last night. It was not last night, but the night before. It was Teresa, the same person I was talking about earlier. And there's something she said about narcissist abuse, because she's basically about 2 years into it. She's almost out. She's got a little bit further to go. And she was sad. She goes, I don't know who I am anymore. She goes, I don't know who this person is. The real me's gone. I'm like, no. That wasn't the real you. That was only a part of you. That was a very naive part of you that didn't want to open up and see the full truth. You didn't completely individuate yet. So here's what I said to her. I go, look, you were naive. You didn't want to see the truth. You wanted to believe that everyone was a good person like you. So one thing she says, she goes, Michael, I can't trust people anymore. I go, I know, and that really hurts you, doesn't it? She's like, yeah. I go, that's not smart to trust people. That's very dangerous. That's like walking out into the wild where there's black bears, grizzly bears, and mountain lions that are hungry. Well, guess what? If you're going to walk up to them and pet you, they're going to kill you. You need to be fully awake. You need to see the good and the bad in people. That doesn't mean that you've changed, that you're not a good person anymore. It means that you realize, like, oh, okay, so it's not a cakewalk here. No, it's never been a cakewalk here. Here's the deal. This is what I said to her. I go, you were getting abused all those years that you were married. So, and she goes, Michael, I didn't see it before, but I see it now. I go, exactly. You made a decision to wake up, and you decided you wanted to see the ugly truth of your own life, and you finally saw it, and you're like, wow, this is horrible. I don't want to do this anymore. And you walked away. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. In the book of Genesis, when it talks about conquering land, it doesn't mean like dominating land, but it means like making it to where we don't have to constantly crawl over rocks and boulders and exert and lose all of our energy from just walking from one place to another to get water or food. The entire Bible, from beginning to end, Old Testament to New Testament, the entire reason, the entire purpose why Jesus came onto the planet and did what he had to do to suffer and to be crucified is exactly where we're at in time right now. We are crossing over to the third dimension so we can open up to higher dimensions of spirituality and opening up to God. This is the whole reason for Adam and Eve, the serpent, the forbidden fruit. This is what this is all about. You may not realize it, but you're looking at it right now. It's opening up to the vagus nervous system so you can be more conscious, more in tune, and more aware. And now you can begin to create. It's the whole purpose why you're here. And yes, the workshop we're doing in November, this is what I'm going to be teaching you how to do, is open up to this system. Alright, so here's the deal. Number one, you have got to let go of who you thought you were. That naive little person that was half blind, that's not who you are. Who you are now is becoming much more powerful, much more aware, okay? So not only did Jesus end the war back then, like the war's already over. Our pastors have been saying this for decades, if not centuries. The war is over. Guess what? Your war is already over. You just don't see it yet. This is what I was trying to tell Teresa the other night. Like you've already won. She goes, but I'm afraid it's going to happen again. Well, here's the deal. The level that you guys have woke up to is absolute, complete awareness of narcissist abuse. It's not kind of, it's not sort of. You guys have been watching my videos and other people's videos. You already know their tactics. You're getting to the point where you're starting to feel, the minute you start to talk to someone like, oh, that's a narc, you can feel it. It's a horrible, yucky, chaotic, mucky energy, okay? You've already won. Worst case scenario, you get caught up 3-4 conversations, maybe 5, and you go, oh God, this is narcissist, and you walk away. It's exactly like if you were to see a grizzly bear, a black bear, or some dangerous animal. Oh, that's a dangerous animal. You walk away, you close the door, you get back in your car, or you physically walk away and move on. You don't sit there and walk up to that bear. It's the same thing with narcissists. You see them now. Even if you're still afraid, you see them and you're going to recognize them a lot faster. And you're like, okay, I'm out of here. Bye. Your war is already over. You just haven't quite figured it out. You just haven't quite seen it yet. But the more you move along, you're going to, oh, wait a minute. I caught it in 4 conversations this time. Oh, I caught it in the 3rd conversation. Oh my God, I caught it in the 1st conversation with this person. You're going to start getting excited catching them. So she was saying to me how worried she was about getting into another relationship with a narcissist, blah, 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 because she was married to one for many years. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do you really think you would marry someone and be married to them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years if they treated you like that? She goes, oh, I would never, ever go back to letting someone treat me like that. And she went, Oh, I see what you're saying. I go, exactly. You're going to catch it within days to weeks. It's not going to go on for months and years anymore. You have woken up to it. You've been watching YouTube videos day and night. You see the signs. You don't even need to see the signs. You know that you will never allow yourself to go through this treatment ever again. It won't happen because you made a decision. No more. In fact, here's the thing that you don't even know. The minute you woke up to this and you started freaking out, like, who is this person's a monster? You started seeing something that had always been happening to you since you were a child. You never saw it before. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It was happening your whole life. It was happening your entire marriage, your entire relationship. You see it now. If you didn't see it now, you would still be with that person. Your war is already over. You won. You already won. You just haven't figured it out. And I promise you, within the next 12 months, about a third of you or more will realize, like, holy shit, like it was over a year ago. Yeah, it's over. This is what Jesus won. The victory between the two-dimensional and three-dimensional world. It's already over. Alright, so I'm going to give a little credit to Sam Vaknin here. I saw a video of his about a week ago, and he was talking about the difference between Western societies and, I forget what he called the other one. Maybe he said Eastern. I don't think he said Eastern, though. But he was talking about like Israel and Palestine and like those kind of cultures. He goes, look, these cultures are past-based. He goes, they get their nourishment, they get their pride, they get their power, they get their strength from their past, their history of the way they used to be, the way their values and the way their culture was and all that. He goes, they are clinging to that. That's why these cultures, they're struggling, because they're still shame-based. They still shame each other on a large scale. Everything is about saving face. He goes, future cultures are looking towards the future, and that's why they're creating things and they're moving forward, whereas old cultures are holding on to the past, and it's not healthy. Now here's the thing, he didn't realize quite what he was talking about. Actually, he did on some level. He used the phrase dichotomy. These are dichotomous relationships. My religion's better than your religion. You're beneath me. No, you're beneath me. And it goes, eventually, they're gonna go to war. Whether it's about religion, whether it's about land, whether it's about culture. Countries have literally gone to war over culture. People get in street fights over their culture. Well, my culture this, and I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. And you people this, and it's an old paradigm. It doesn't even exist in reality anymore. And you're not that person anymore yourself. You are not that old two-dimensional being that's either or. Well, I'm either a good empath or I'm a bad, evil person. No, you're both. You can kick ass. So if a narcissist comes up to you, you go full-on honey badger. You're both good and bad. You're both a healer and a warrior. That's why when people say, oh, you're light workers, no, you're light healers and light warriors. You're both. You're not this wimpy person who can't defend themselves or stand up for themselves anymore. You're both. Now here's the other thing that you're going to start realizing. You will. Narcissists are completely messed up people. They are weak. They are shattered individuals. These are people that are complete failures at being a human. And I mean complete failures. They can't function in society in a normal, healthy way. They just can't do it. And they're not strong at all. They're completely, totally weak. It was all an illusion that you had to play into. You had to decide to be a willing victim. You had to decide to feel sorry for them and let them treat you like shit. So they treated you like shit, and you made up an excuse for them. And this is what your fault was. This was your part in this game. You allowed them to treat you like shit, and because I used to do it too. You used to be like, oh, well, they had a bad day. Oh, well, you know, their mom didn't treat them well when they were a child. Oh, well, fuck that. Not me. I'm like, you know what? Go get some therapy. You need to go to therapy, not me, buddy. You know, in other words, you're not here to let them beat you down. If you're out in the dating field and you realize some guy has mother issues from childhood, guess what? Don't date that person. They're screwed up. It is not your job to fix them. It's their job. Period. End of sentence. So You have to let go of the past. The past doesn't even exist anymore. That is an illusion. You are not a two-dimensional based being anymore at all, not even a little bit. That's what you popped out of. So part of your darkness and sadness is you feel like you lost someone. No, you didn't lose someone. You just lost a paradigm, a way of thinking, a way of looking and perceiving that life that sucked, that caused you a tremendous amount of pain and allowed these monsters to hurt you. It doesn't exist anymore. You are now a 3D person. You can see and a both plus and more. You can see the good in people and the bad in people. You can see when someone's genuinely nice versus someone being fake. You are much more aware because you're a much higher level. You're at a higher level right now of consciousness. So here's the deal. You get what you focus on, so focus on what you want. So a lot of you are like, but, see, here's what I'm saying. This game has to end right now. You have got to stop focusing on narcissism. I'm going to tell you right now, my channel is starting to turn in another direction. I'm starting to do workshops. I'm starting to teach you emotional grounding techniques. I'm going to turn into another direction. I'm not going to stay on this narcissist thing for the rest of my life because that's part of the game. You have to leave the loop. You have to leave this infinity loop, and here's what I mean. Have you ever heard? In fact, I've heard people from 12-step programs say, "Yeah, it's like a revolving door." You know those doors that keep spinning in circles, and they're usually at department stores and stuff. It's like they never leave. It's like they go and they come. So they got off the drugs, but now they're in a room full of people that are full of drug addicts, just like their friends were. And what's the first thing they tell you? You've got to get away from your friends that do drugs because you're going to keep doing it. Well, what do? They put them in a room full of other people that were hooked on drugs, that are drug addicts. But Mike, we're in a 12-step program. There's a lot of positives to it, but here's the deal. You're still in the system, like you're still in the narcissist box. You see, and that's what you don't realize. You have eventually got to completely, totally leave this and move into the future. The future is not for you to spend the rest of your life listening to narcissist abuse videos and going to narcissist groups and support groups. You have eventually got to heal from this and then move on. Because otherwise, it's just like a 12-step program where you keep going through that revolving door and you never actually leave. It's not just the 12-step program. You got to understand, the 12-step program is absolutely a part of the addiction cycle. In other words, if you're constantly listening to YouTube videos and going to groups and stuff about narcissist abuse, the narcissist still has you. He still tricked you. You're still thinking about this pain and the suffering. You have eventually got to heal from it. And once you do, you have to go out there and become an actor, an artist, a musician, start a new business, go back to college and start living your life, because that's why you are here. Life is a gift from God, literally. It is a gift for you to celebrate, to enjoy your life, to be happy. Here's the deal. I get it. You were hurt. You were hurt unfairly and you were hurt badly, and it really screwed you up. It caused a huge nightmare in your life, and it hurts in your gut probably even right now. But here's the deal. You think, well, I got to keep looking out for it because it's going to happen again. No, it won't. No, it won't. It absolutely won't. You're going to see them next time. Even if they deal with you for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you're like, oh, shit, see ya. Got to get in life. Bye. You've got to become the mama bear now. You've got to become strong and vicious. Not all the time, but only when you're dealing with this. Oh, get the hell out of here. Bye, buddy. So here's the deal. Something really bad happened to you. It was done by an absolute complete jerk, a complete asshole. A completely screwed up person. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. Alright, I know how to say it. So, here's the deal. Alright, you know how a lot of you will try to tell your friends and family or people like, hey, you know, this is what's going on. They're stalking me and this, and they're looking like, well, you're crazy. You're weird. These people don't want to see it. They're still asleep, okay? So here's the net deal. You are totally awake to what's going on. You see what others don't see, that they can't see. Even when you point it out to them, they don't want to see this. They think by being submissive to the narcissist and putting up with it, then it'll help them be like one of the people that they don't fuck with. But that's just absolutely not true. You are so aware of this that even when you try to tell your friends or family, you're like, well, what's wrong with these people? Why do they? I'm going to tell you something right now. 5 years, 2 years, 6 days before you popped and you opened up, if someone came up to you and even tried to tell you that your husband was a narcissist and that they're demonic and they're doing all these horrible things, you would be like, oh, you're just mean. There's something wrong with you. Oh, you're just this. And you literally, you would deny it. You would make excuses for it because you didn't see it. That's how much you see it. This will never happen to you again. Here's how you're going to live your life. You're going to go live your life. You're going to be happy. You're going to go start a business, do something beautiful, something wonderful, and you're going to bump into some negative narcissistic person like, oh, get the hell out of here. It's just like that. You'll be done with them. You know, let me tell you something. When I started bumping into like old narcissists that I knew from the past, they're completely cowards. They can't even look me in the eye anymore. It's the weirdest thing in the world. They're scared. And that's the part that you never saw. They blinded it to you, and you helped in the process. You were a willing victim, and I promise you, when you complete this tunnel, this 2 to 3 year tunnel thing of darkness of the Great Wall of China, when you come out, you're going to start looking at people. Oh, that's a narcissist guy. Oh, what a coward. You are going to see how cowardly these people are. That's what it means when they say covert. It's because they're cowards. And I'm not just saying that from an ego base. You're going to realize how weak these people are and how scared they are. It's like a freaking dog that you slap your hands or bark at and they go, oh, and they run away. So I'm looking at my notes here. I want to go over this again. So it's just like those 12-step programs. It's like those people don't want to let go of who they are or who they used to be. And now here's the thing. You are not that old person. You're not that naive person anymore. And it's like they don't want to let go of who they are, so they keep going these programs, hanging around with the same mentality, the same whatever. Now this becomes a part of who they are. It's like going to AA meetings, 12-step programs for life. They never get out of it. Don't let this happen to you. Now you left the narcissist and you came to YouTube narcissistic videos. And now here's the deal. Eventually you have to completely let go and get out of this. This is not who you are. This is not your life. I get it. Something bad happened to you. Something horrible happened to you. It's not who you are though. It's done. It's over with. Alright, so here's the final step. Here's the one thing that none of you have done. So if the old you was getting abused, being manipulated and lied to, etc., well, who's the new you? You literally have to choose this. You have to say, well, who am I? So you have to, number one, choose your I am. That phrase, I am, is extremely powerful. Mine, I'm awesome. Period, end of sentence. Everything about me, everything I do, everything I'm involved in is awesome. Number two, so you have to choose a word for that or a phrase. I am awesome. I am beautiful. I'm intelligent. I'm powerful. Whatever it is, you have to choose a phrase or a word for you. Number two, and I want you to write this down. Number two, choose your life. Choose your life is. So some people, life sucks. Life is a pain in the ass. Life's a bitch. Some people are like, no, life's a dance. Life is an art. For me, I chose life as a vacation. And goddamn, let me tell you something. My life has been a vacation. You just keep saying it, and eventually it becomes fun. Life is fun. Life is a celebration. Life is. I don't know. It's like whatever you want. You have to pick your thing that empowers you. Now, let me go on to one more. Hold on. Number three, you have to choose your future. So what do you want? So here's where you start. If you completely heal from narcissist abuse and it's you are completely done with them, they're done with you, and it is over. What do you want next? What's the next thing? So what's your purpose for healing from narcissist abuse? Completely healing. So once you have that, what's your highest purpose for that? And once you have that, what's your highest purpose for that? And when you have that, What does that allow you to experience? You need to say, well, I'll be jogging on Saturdays. I'll be hanging out with my friends at the movies. I'll meet better people that are awesome. I'll meet people that actually care about me, people that support me, people that are there for me when I'm going through a rough time. You know, people that are healthy, people that are good people. I'll go back to college, or I'll be going out to clubs again, or I'll go out dancing on Wednesday nights. Or you have to literally write down. You have to paint your new picture of your new life. And it can't be like, well, I'll be avoiding narcissists, I'll be watching narcissist video, I'll be running away from. No, it can't be running away from. It can't be away from. It has to be towards. Dancing, happiness, fun, joy. In other words, if you were narcissist free, completely narcissist free, what would your life be like? You'd probably sleep a lot better. You'd probably get a lot better rest. You'd probably eat healthy. You're probably the stress in your face would start to go away. You'd start to get your youth back. You'd rejuvenate. You'd start to feel better. How would your life be? And go in that direction. This is your new life now. Happiness, fun, joy, pleasure, love, goodness, creativity, art, passion. Life is going to become a lot better, and this channel is turning into that direction to create your life in a way that you like, enjoy, and absolutely understand and love. Hey guys, if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and send this video to other people, okay? If you like my videos, my channels, if you think it would benefit other people, send them a link. Show them the videos if you think this is making a difference in your life. This channel is moving on in a new direction. My business is going to start getting off the road, and we're going to start traveling to different locations and cities, doing seminars and workshops. God bless you guys. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, send a link to a friend or family member, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, go ahead and make a donation if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. Only do it if you're very comfortable doing it. There's a PayPal link right down there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.